all the Red Temptation that has come into Zara in the last couple of weeks has been overwhelming. Has really just made me do a double take, like, wait a second, like, hold on, like, slow down. Like, I need a minute. But that doesn't mean that I didn't get my hands on the one that I really wanted to get my nose on. I do not have the coin to be buying all 4 of these fragrances, but I did smell them in the store, so I can tell you how I feel about them. So if you want to know how I feel about these latest 4 fragrances that have dropped at Zara from their Red Temptation line, keep watching. My absolute favorite Red Temptation from Zara is the Red Zara Temptation Winter. That's this one. And I believe that this is the 50 ml. And this retails for like $35, I think. This is my second bottle. This is one of the first fragrances in my entire fragrance collection thus far that I have finished one bottle. I would have finished this as well if there weren't other fragrances that came out. I also got the 30 ml of the regular Red Temptation from Zara initially. That one was done in days. So the latest fragrances from Zara are these Red Zara Temptation fragrances in red bottles. And the first one is, well, the first one that I will mention is Red Zara Temptation Vanille. And then there's Red Zara Temptation Bloom, Red Zara Temptation Tobacco, and Red Zara Temptation Sandalwood. It's $45.90 for 50 ml of product. And I believe the price hike went from 35 to 45 because these are all extrait de parfums, and extrait de parfums have a higher concentration of fragrance oil in them, which should mean that they last longer, that they're stronger, and you know, that's why it's $45. Let me just go through all of the notes on the website for each of these fragrances, although I have to say that Zara's fragrance notes that they give on their site are not particularly reliable. And some of them, I have to say, like there's a Red Temptation Sweet that I got a 30 ml of because I love the way that it smelled when I smelled it in the store, but I got a 30 ml of it. It doesn't seem that dissimilar from the Red Temptation and Vanille, but let me not get ahead of myself. Let me read you the notes of the Red Temptations in the red bottle. That's how I'm gonna distinguish them. I'm gonna start with the one with tobacco. So Zara Red Temptation Tobacco Extrait. It says it's a bold, because they don't give the notes. They don't give the notes, okay? They don't give notes like top, middle, base on the Zara website. It just gives you the copy and the description of it. So Tobacco Extrait is a bold reinterpretation of our iconic Red Temptation experience. The intoxicating burst of spicy tobacco notes, illuminated by the delicate sweetness of fresh pink pepper and our iconic saffron, while an opulent sambac jasmine blends with a fiery rock rose flower to create a delicious and intense trail. So I smelled this one in the store a few days ago, and it smells good, but there's no lasting, there's no projection to it. It doesn't really fully present itself well enough for me. So I'm fine that I didn't love it, but I did want to smell them. And I'm not sure if it's one I would have wanted to own anyway. The Red Temptation Sandalwood, I was more curious about. Why do I have like 50 tabs open that are the same? So Red Temptation Sandalwood is described as being a sublime and elevated reinterpretation of our iconic Red Temptation. Elegant and intense sandalwood takes center stage, enhanced by refined touches of spiced white pepper and saffron. A delicate powdery veil of violet and iris heighten the deep woody blend of sophisticated white sandalwood, ambergris, and a creamy and irresistible tonka bean. Now the sandalwood I definitely liked. It gave a lot of woodiness to it, but again, it wasn't giving a straight de parfum to me. I'm not saying that I will not take more time when I see these fragrances in Zara again, which I'm sure I will, to really like smell them and sit with them. But unless they do a 30 mil, which I doubt that they will because they don't do that with, I don't think that, maybe they have a 30 mil of the elixir. I don't know. Zara is so random. But Sandalwood is probably the one that I might want to spend more time with. But it just wasn't giving to me an extrait de parfum kind of boldness. But I did get a lot of woodiness from it. And then the one that I have not smelled, that I have not seen in a Zara as yet, is the Red Temptation Bloom. And I'm assuming, because I'm not really into florals, that I won't necessarily be into it. But I do like the description of it, which makes me feel like it might surprise me and I might like it. So the description for this one is a powerful reinterpretation, blah, blah, blah. The sparkling orange blossom. Now we know I love orange blossom. And pear notes make way to a sublime and luminous magnolia kissed by a luxurious sandalwood essence. With an infusion of the iconic signature of amber and moss, it leaves a persistent and unforgettable memento. I want to smell it. I do want to smell this one. And I'm sorry to say I haven't smelled it yet, so I can't tell you how I feel about it. But I can tell you how I feel about Vanille because I got it right here. So, Red Temptation Vanille Extrait is a symphony of spices with saffron as a standout. Enriched with luxurious cacao and a great amount of vanilla. The radiant floral sensuality of jasmine and vanilla accord evolved to perfection towards a potent fusion of vanilla and amber, creating an irresistible and unforgettable charm. So this is the one that I saw first in my local Zara, and I grabbed it because it was the last one and I wasn't sure whether I would see it again. It was in a box that was open, so it was probably handled, but I didn't care. I was just like, we're getting this now. Not, of course, before spraying it and smelling it and loving it at first sniff. This is the box for Red Temptation and Vanille. I mean, nothing really special about it, but just so you know what it looks like. So this is the bottle, and they are all red, but it's rounded on the bottom here, if you can see, like the Red Temptation Elixir Extrait bottle, which, you know, I mean, I'm neither crazy about this packaging, nor do I hate it. It is what it is. I could have done without it being red, but I get it. I mean, it's whatever. So this fragrance, I want to say that, oh my goodness, wow. There is a great amount of depth and warmth in this fragrance. To me, this really feels like a good fragrance for the winter. It's warm. It's just very soothing. It's very insulating, but also powerful. Also strong. Like, this is the only one out of all the others that to me actually gives the extrait de parfum performance. I'm just gonna spray it on a clean tester here. I don't have anything on my skin today because I want to smell it on my skin just without any other fragrance. But first, I'm just gonna spray it on this tester. So if you've been watching my channel long enough, you'll know that I am a vanilla lover and I love Red Temptation. So when I saw this, I was just like, oh my God, like I just went crazy. And I'm so glad that it delivers everything that I love about both fragrances. I get the Red Temptation DNA mixed in with like creamy vanilla, and it's just a little powdery and just, God dang, it's just lovely. And it lasts longer to me. Like, I've worn it on my skin a couple of times. I haven't worn it like out to work or anything yet. I've worn it to bed and I feel like it lasts for a few hours. It is so beautiful. And forget what I said, this can be worn. I think this is a good fragrance for the summertime. I think it's fine for the spring too, but I think that in the summertime on the skin with the warmth, it's just going to project even more and just be even more powerful. And when I say powerful, I don't mean like overwhelming. It's strong. It's a straight dip perfume and it's really giving that expression, which I love, but it's also soft. It's not like punching you in the face, but it is intense. I want to spray this all over myself right now, but I have one more fragrance I want to talk about. But this is wonderful. I'm just gonna spray this on my arm because the other fragrance that I want to talk about, I feel is kind of comparable to it, and I'm trying to see what the difference is. So it smells, I get on my skin something different than what I get when I spray it on paper. On my skin, I get like the Red Temptation DNA more. On the paper, I smell the vanilla. So they're talking about cacao, which I'm guessing is giving it that creaminess. Definitely the amber, but amber and vanilla go so well together. It's hard to kind of like distinguish, though I do feel that it must be the amber in the base, giving it that warmth, giving it that like grounded sort of center. I mean, everything to me in this is just so balanced and lovely. And then, oh my God, that Red Temptation comes through. The Red Temptation is... So if you like that Red Temptation, earthiness, that kind of strength that it has, this is really, really freaking nice. I would say that this is definitely also unisex. I could see a man wearing this as well. So gentlemen, dudes, brothers, if you're into this, yeah, I think that this is good for all the sexes. So even though this bottle appears to be smaller, it is 50 ml, just like the Red Temptation Winter or the ones that are not straight to parfum. But because it's straight, it's $45.90, like the Red Temptation Elixir. But the whole straight to parfum claim with Red Temptation is hit or miss. Sometimes it's straight like this one is, and sometimes it's just a little bit stronger, but just not strong enough. To me, the Elixir is not strong enough. This Red Temptation Winter, I feel like when it sits a little longer, it gets even stronger, but it is the strongest of the Red Temptation, just Red Temptation fragrance from Zara, if that makes any sense. These ones that are with other floral notes and sandalwood and tobacco, they're different. They're all expressed differently within the extrait de parfum realm. And I feel like this one is giving more strength than the tobacco and the sandalwood. So the next one that I picked up in a 30 ml is Red Zara Sweet Temptation. Now, this one to me, it smells like a little too much like Red Temptation Vanille, but I liked it and I had a 30 ml, so I bought it. But listen to the description, okay? Listen to the description. If you can, recall what the Vanille one is, I will refresh your memory. Red Temptation Sweet combines the addictive notes with the sophisticated richness of tonka bean and highly indulgent vanilla. The deep and mysterious notes of moss are heightened even more by the warmth of amber wood, creating a luxurious and delicious olfactory experience. So isn't that the same as Zara Temptation and Vanille, except without the jasmine? It's pretty much the same. And this one is just EDP. So I figured it's a 30 ml. These retail for like $17.90. So this is the box for Red Temptation Sweet. Can't go wrong. 2 fragrances in 2 days from Zara. I mean, what's not to love? I'm gonna spray this on the tester as well to see what it's like on the paper as opposed to my skin, and see if there's a real distinctive difference between these two. Okay, you know what? After the like 2-second alcohol opening, yeah, this doesn't really project on paper very well. But I do get a sweetness. I do get a sweetness that I don't get from the Red Temptation Vanille. It doesn't, like the Red Temptation DNA, that earthy dirtiness that I talk about, it doesn't come off in this on the paper. But not much is coming off on the paper. So I'm just gonna spray this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this one is sweeter. Difference is not that big. The difference is not that big. It's not that big. I'm gonna be honest. The Red Temptation Sweet, I just feel like it is a slightly weaker version, not to say bad version of Red Temptation and Vanille. That's what I get. It's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's not that dissimilar from this. So I would say definitely check out Red Temptation and Vanille if you like Red Temptation and vanilla. This is definitely worth the purchase. And then if you kind of just want something that is like Red Temptation and Vanille, but less strength, a little bit more subdued, definitely try Red Temptation, Red Zara Temptation Sweet, which I didn't know existed until I saw it in the store. So I also want to give an honorary mention to a couple of other Red Temptation fragrances that I don't know if they dropped in the last couple of weeks or if they were always there. I don't know. If you know, please let me know. But there's also a Red Temptation Floral. And I feel like there's a Red Temptation with Rose Gourmand, but again, I'm not seeing it on the website. One of them I really like. It actually reminds me a lot of Mancera's Roses and Vanille. So I just went back and looked at my Zara footage from the first Zara that I visited. Thank God, because this is so confusing, you guys. So Love Explosion is a Zara fragrance that is a layering of Red Temptation and Rose Gourmand. And that is the one that smells like Roses Vanille by Mancera. The Red Temptation Floral, I did not like. I didn't like. Don't hate it, but I didn't like it. Love Explosion smells like Roses and Vanille by Mancera. And I might need to pick that one up. I was considering it while I was in the store, but I was like, is it too much like Mancera? But now I just want to get it for research purposes to compare it with Roses and Vanille by Mancera and then compare what the longevity and projection is like. The projection is wonderful in the store. It's amazing. I was just like, how does this smell exactly like Roses and Vanille? And I don't know that there's vanilla in it, but let's read the description because that's the only one I haven't pulled up here for this video. Oh my God. Okay, so Love Explosion. And it just says Love Explosion. They have a 30 ml, so I will pick up a 30 ml. So it says a limited edition fragrance that combines the captivating charm of Red Temptation with the elegance of Rose Gourmand, which is another Zara fragrance, which even on its own, I really like. A luxurious fusion of bright rose and softening vanilla. With amber, floral, fruity, and gourmand notes, the top notes of the fragrance include, thanks for that, bitter orange and peony. The middle notes are rose, praline, and amber, with base notes of moss, vanilla, and musk. Yeah, Love Explosion is good. It's quite good. So yeah, I will be getting this as well. Yo! I really love Red Zara Temptation Vanille out of all the red bottles that have been released, except for Bloom, which I have not smelled yet, and I will and get back to you on my feelings about that. The Red Zara Sweet Temptation, which I also sprayed in the store. I really love this. I feel like it's just a less strong version of this one, which is Extrait de Parfum. This one is EDP. And then the Love Explosion, which thank God I watched my footage again, is a layering of Red Temptation and Zara's Rose Gourmand. I love it. I will be picking it up next. And that is it. That is it. I just, look, yo, Red Temptation freaking overload. Is it too much for me? Do I think it's too much? I feel like Zara clearly knows that Red Temptation has a huge fan base. Has been a little bit overwhelming only because I'm not able to make clear distinctions of all the Red Temptations, but I think I got it now. I think I got it. And even so, with the confusion, it's still a lot of fun because it's just fun to smell the fragrance of Red Temptation infused in all these different ways. Like, I would never say no to it. Let me know in the comment section below if you're a Red Temptation fan as well, or how you feel about this new release of the red bottles of Red Temptation Vanille, Sandalwood, Bloom, and Tobacco. I've really enjoyed smelling these fragrances. I can't wait to let you know how I feel about the ones that I haven't sniffed as yet. And as always, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't as yet. And content like this is interesting to you and enjoyable to you. Don't forget to click on the thumbs up button down below if you like this video. And I will see you in my next one soon. Bye.